Good evening and welcome to Paranormal Verses. I am Kel Ridley, as you might know. And this is Michael Koff. I would usually do that or that, but we keep changing it around. So Michael Koff, my wonderful co-host, and my husband-to-be, Matt Atkinson, who's also co-host. And we're here tonight with some amazing guests that we're going to bring out in a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about them. They're from an investigation team called GHOST, which stands for, hang on, I've got to read this to remember. Ghost Hunters of Southern Tucson. Did I get that right? Tucson?
Yeah. Tucson. You got it.
Yeah, because I've been saying for the last few days, it's, what was it, Tucson or something like that. So
I'm like, no, it's Tucson. Definitely Tucson.
Yeah, Tucson.
Yeah, so tonight we've got Wendy, Pam, and Patti coming out shortly. So yeah, we're going to have a chat to them. So it's going to be a fun show. I guarantee it. But I just wanted to catch up with the guys and ask them how things are going. Michael?
Going good. And one thing I'd like to add for this episode is this is our first pre-record with this show. So those of you in the chat room, don't feel like we're not listening to you or paying any attention to you. It's that we probably are not in studio. So feel free to leave comments and we will address them as we see them. But I just didn't want anyone to get hurt feelings that they're like, why is no one responding to the chat group?
Yeah, it's going to be weird not having anybody in the chat this week, so but we'll get over it. I'm sure we'll have plenty of questions to ask the girls anyway. So
yes, and it actually worked out because so Kel knows and Matt hasn't been introduced yet to Jeff on eTalk, one of our networks that we're on. And I was interviewed because Kel wasn't feeling well, so I went on my own with a couple. And Thursday, I will be on their show being interviewed.
Wow.
So it actually works out that so I get to do 3 shows and an interview in 3 days.
Oh, I am so glad I'm not you, Michael. Missed that popularity there. I
know. And so little housekeeping is talking with Kel and Matt that we may have an announcement of another network coming soon that we may be airing on. So stay tuned. We're expanding and growing.
We certainly are. And that's not just off my dinner neither. So how's your week been? Just a quick catch up since we last spoke. Anything been happening?
Actually just getting everything ready for April. And as those of you who are in the chat group noticed, we did put the lineup up. So that's a new thing for us. So let us know in comments if you like having the lineup in advance to know what shows to watch, or if you want to hang out and just wait and see.
Cool. Matt, how's your week been?
It's going all right. It's going pretty good. Been sorting loads and loads of bits and pieces out down here. Put together a little IT rig for when we start doing investigations with Geordie Supernatural. So we've got a racked up computer, 4 cameras, night vision cameras, and sound, so we can record ambient noise and maybe get some EVPs, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've just been putting together a mobile sort of networking IT rack full of computer recording stuff. At the same time, I'm packing the place up, as we all know, because I'll be moving out of here within the next couple of months. So yeah, it's been quite a busy week, really. Well,
next couple of weeks, more like.
So I haven't touched the studio. That's the last thing I'm going to do. But yeah, so busy, really.
And as Michael pointed out before, just want to say you're looking very smart tonight, Matt.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
For a change.
The rest of us are all in casual, and Matt's like,
well,
yeah.
It's just the jacket. I've been clothes in the bedroom and going through my closets and all that kind of thing, and found an old suit and thought, oh, let's try it on. And I've still got it on. So, yeah.
Cool. Oh, well, so Michael, have you got anything else that you need to catch up with this before we bring the guests on?
No, I think all the announcements have been made in the group, and I think everything's been covered.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So without further ado, we can bring on the guests, if you don't mind.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Just want to introduce Wendy and Pam and Patti as well from Ghost. It's Ghost, isn't it? Yes, Ghost. Ghost Hunters of Southern Tucson. Yeah, I got right again. So, do you just want to one by one introduce yourselves and tell what it is that you do?
All right. I'm Wendy. I'm from Ghost Hunters of Southern Tucson. I have 3 granddaughters, a beautiful daughter. I love to investigate. I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff, but anyhow, that's me. Then I have Miss Pam here.
I'm Pam. Me and my husband actually have our own team. It's called Haunted Encounter Adventures. And we just kind of, sometimes we go by ourselves, but sometimes we go with her. Sometimes we go with Patti and a bunch of other people. So
yeah, we kind of like
collaborate. That's what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of investigations together.
Cool.
That's cool. I like collaborating.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Made a lot of really cool people that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually the case. So I just wanted to know what got you all into the paranormal.
Hell, you didn't let Patti introduce herself.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, with it. Sorry, Patti.
I'm actually a costume designer, makeup artist, ghost hunter by weekend, I guess you'd call it. Yeah. I kind of have, again, we're talking about, we have different teams. I have my own name, which is Ghostlight Investigators.
Uh-huh.
I am basically a theater nerd that loves the paranormal. So that's where that comes from. And Wendy was actually one of the first teams that I went on a real investigation. I lived in a haunted house. Well, let me put that, a house that was haunted for a couple of years. And I also work at haunted attractions here in Phoenix. So yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
So is that why your shirt says "Future Ghost"?
Absolutely.
I was trying to figure out what that said, and yeah, I like that. Where'd you get that? You gotta let me know. Huh?
The internet.
Well, okay.
Same place I got mine.
Same place. Same place you got. Bless your heart here, right?
Oh, I was trying to figure out what it said.
Yeah, it says "bless your heart." It's a Southern thing.
Yeah, as you can
It
tell.
is.
We say that here too.
Oh, you do? Does it mean the same thing as when we say it?
Yeah,
Nice, it's not usually a nice thing when you say it.
Oh.
Yeah.
If somebody does,
That's not when we say it. It's not always nice.
Oh, right. Well, if somebody does something good for somebody else, somebody
No,
might turn
that's
around and
not
go,
what
"Oh,
it means
that's
when you
sweetheart."
say it.
Yeah, the Southerners, we're polite, so if you do something stupid, they'll
I don't
say,
know how to say it online, so I
"Oh, you did that. Bless your heart."
yeah. Instead of saying you're just stupid.
Yeah, we
Just
try
say
to be
bless-
we
yeah,
try to
it's
be
a polite way of being sarcastic.
Yeah. So now I know when Michael says it to me, he's being sarcastic, then not being nice.
Hey, I'm a Northerner actually by birth, so you never know with me.
Mm.
Guilty.
Gotta look at context. Bless your
Okay.
heart, Kel.
Don't go there. Now I know. So anyway, I'll get back to the question. So what first got you into the paranormal? What experience was it that made you want to do this? I'll ask
Wendy
it
can
all
go.
yes.
Oh, right. Okay, go on.
Well, actually, when I was younger, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of weird stuff would happen to me and my two younger sisters mainly. My mom had 7 kids, and me and my my 2 other sisters that were the youngest. We lived in Arkansas, Little Rock, and a lot of weird stuff happened there all the time. We had just growing up, just weird stuff, unexplained stuff. Things that scared me. I mean, I was scared of this stuff. I mean, I was like, something weird would happen or whatever. I would like run and hide in the bathroom or something. That's how I just didn't. Things just scared me. And so as I got older, I was still scared. And probably about 9 years ago that we've been investigating, I ended up doing a paranormal investigation. It was like a tour, like a ghost tour type thing. And so I told my boyfriend, I go, hey, you know what? I kind of want to check this out, But before that, I started getting into, and I'm just going to say, because these are like my guys that I really enjoy watching. A lot of people have their own opinions on the guys, but I watch Ghost Adventures. And I watched their first documentary when it first came out. And that kind of got me interested. I'm like, this is kind of cool, Then I started thinking about all the experiences that I had when I was younger. And I'm like, if these guys are looking for stuff that I already knew, was different, something out there that was just not explainable. And so I was kind of like, this is kind of cool, So I ended up, like I said, going to investigation as a ghost tour. I went, it was me and my boyfriend. We went, the first one we went to was up here in Globe, Arizona, the Gila County, the Gila jail. Well, yeah, the Gila County, the Gila jail. I think it was It was built in 1912, I believe it is. Anyhow, we did the investigation in there. We got some really cool stuff, and that was kind of like where I started like going, I like this. It's kind of cool. I was still scared. I was still like clinging on to my boyfriend, and then we started doing some other things like the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona. We would go in and they would do like people would sit around the table and you could, they would, there was like a ghost tour also for that. And there was things that would go on in there. And it was just everything that I was kind of getting into. I was trying to get into it, just trying to figure out if I wanted to, if I could do this without, hiding or running if something happened, So, but yeah, that's how I got into it. I was just watching, I started from Ghost Adventures until I started doing the ghost tours and stuff like that. And then I kind of got hooked. And then when me and my boyfriend did our first investigation, he got hooked, and we've just been doing it since. And then I met up with.
How did we meet? I don't remember.
I'm kind of friend of you. You don't remember. I don't think I do either. But no, we
Really quick, how many drinks have y'all had first of all?
I got
I got some kind of blueberry tea that she gave me, and I don't know what she put in it when I wasn't looking. So that ain't my fault.
She'll be passing out in about another 2 minutes. Give her 2 more minutes. So yeah, and then I think I met up with her. I don't know how, it was on Facebook. Met her somehow. I don't even know. She probably contacted me. I don't know. And then Patti, she came to one of our, because we used to do ghost tours up in Superior, Arizona. This place called Magma Club. I think that's where we first met Patti. And she came in and did the investigation there. And these guys, they came to the first one too, I believe. You and Jeff. The
Magma Club, yeah.
And I kind of liked him. I like,
Maybe that's where we met.
Well, you had to know me from somewhere.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, but that's the first thing that we did with you was the Magma Club.
Yeah. So that's how we all kind of met. And then I have other team members. We have, it's me, it's Kevin, my boyfriend Darren, and the guy named Scott. The guy named Scott. He's not gonna like that. Scott and Rebecca. She was. I wanted her on here today, but she's up in California. Hi, Becca. Yeah. So I got other team members, but the guys know that I got the bigger mouth, and I crap going, I guess. So they kind of let me do these things because they're more laid back and chilled out a little bit more than I am. So yeah. So I said enough. So Pam, you got the floor.
You got the bigger mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, between me and my husband, since he's not here, I got the bigger mouth for me and him. So he likes to talk about his UFO stuff. He doesn't really like to do the ghost stuff. He'll do it, but he doesn't like to talk about it, and I don't know why. He don't really tell me. But when I was a little kid, I had some weird experiences in my grandma's house after she passed away, and it was not. I wasn't scared, but I just it was weird, because I could hear her walking through the house, and I heard pots and pans banging in the kitchen, and I went and looked, and there wasn't nobody there, and so I knew something was going on. I could feel like I was in her bed. I was sleeping in her bed. And I think she wanted to know who was in her bed because she came. I felt a cold breeze come in the bedroom. And I heard her footsteps walking in the house. And she stopped right there in front of the bedroom. And I guess she saw that it was me in her bed and she was okay with it. So after that, she didn't do nothing else. But I kind of put that in the back of my head for a lot of years, didn't really make too much out of it. But then when I came out here from North Carolina and I got with my husband, the first apartment we had in Phoenix, he told me when I got there. He didn't tell me before I came. He told me after I got there. He's like, well, and this was like a couple of weeks after, maybe a month after I had been there. He's like, well, I need to tell you something. So I have some weird things that happen in the apartment. And I'm like, and you're telling me this now? And he's like, well, sometimes the lights will flash off and, stuff like that. And so I did see a couple of things happen like that, like what he was saying in his apartment. And then we went with the first place that we went to was Sunkist Factory, which is in Mesa, isn't it? We went with Jay and Marie Yates. And so that was pretty cool. And I was, like, okay, this is not too bad. And then one day Jeff told me, well, I ordered this and I ordered that. And he got the SLS camera and then he got a couple other things. And so we started out going with a group called AZ Ghost Adventures. They do stuff at Acadia Ranch and the Gila Jet. We started doing stuff with them, and then we didn't want to do that no more. So that's somehow I met her, and I'm like, well, I like doing stuff with her, so we're not going to do stuff with them no more. We're going to do stuff with her. So we started doing stuff with her, and then we met Patti we went to this place in Sierra Vista, and you invited Patti to that Brown Canyon Ranch. That's where we found the snake. And was it Patti that threw a rock at the snake?
Oh, well, yeah, I met Patti before I met you. Then you must.
You met Patti. Yeah, I didn't meet Patti until you brought her to the Brown Canyon Ranch.
Okay.
That's when I met her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah.
So what?
I was
Michael?
gonna say, Pam, just to clarify, next time, tell your husband we do discuss UFOs on this show.
Okay. That's mostly his thing, and that's mostly what he likes to be known for.
He's really good at it too.
He doesn't
knows
really
his stuff.
talk about the ghost stuff that much, and I don't know why.
We'll definitely have to get him on then.
Yeah.
And then there's Patti.
Well, like I said, I've always kind of been interested in it, but raising kids or whatever, the kids, you didn't really talk about it. I'd watch the ghost shows after the kids would go to bed and whatever, but I would go to places and I'd start taking pictures kind of on the down low. And then when we moved into our house that was haunted, she was the ghost that was there was very much a trickster. She would hide my keys all the time and do all sorts of fun things. But it wasn't until my kids had moved out and stuff like that until I was able to find what I would call, I guess, like-minded people that were not, like Wendy and Pam that are into the paranormal. And that's when I started doing the more investigations. And then my husband started funding my habit. So.
My boyfriend too. Darren does too. That's how I get all my cool equipment. Every Christmas, it's really cool. I get all excited for Christmas now.
So we've all been from Arizona. Can any of you remember the Phoenix Lights, or did you have any see them or anything?
Pam,
I didn't. Pam, did you?
Well, I wasn't here when that happened, but that's actually what my husband talks about. He's studied those, and he's studied the background behind those and everything. But I wasn't here. I didn't come out here until 2017, so I didn't really know anything about them. But I have seen them though.
Wow. It must be amazing to see something like that.
Yeah, it was. I can't really say what exactly how it made me feel, but I was excited and. I was going to work. It was in Glendale. We lived in Glendale, and I was going to work, and I came out and I went to get something out of my car, and I didn't see nothing. And then when I went back to the house, they were just all of a sudden there, and I start screaming, and he heard me, and he come out, and he seen them, and he went back in and got his camera and started filming them, and it was pretty neat.
That's interesting.
I've seen little people. Now, I don't know if you guys know or have heard of
little people here, too. Have you? Little people here?
Little people. No, not midgets. I mean, little people.
I've actually just started hearing about them.
When I was young.
A friend of mine did a show.
Yeah, it was really strange. It was me and, again, my two other sisters, the younger ones. We were the three youngers of the other ones. And I remember we lived in Missouri, Popular Bluff, Missouri is where we lived at. And out there, too, there was weird things in the sky. We saw UFOs. I saw a UFO after a tornado. I mean, it was crazy. But these little people were about, I don't know, they were about this big. And you could ask my sisters, they could tell you the exact same thing. It was like, there was this ditch behind where we lived at, and we would go out there, and we would see these little people like running around like it's like a village. It was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, And whatever you got in yours, and it was crazy. We would just like see these little people, and but it was like they would appear in front for us, but we would run and tell our mom, there's little people out there. She was like,
so they look just like us?
Yeah.
Only smaller?
Just about that tall.
Wow.
It was really crazy. I don't know. And I tell people that story, and they're like, looking at me like, what?
I
Are you
bet.
sure? But I mean, my two sisters, I even talk to them sometimes. I'm like, do you remember that? And they're like, yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen when I was a kid, I was convinced I seen the tooth fairy dancing around in my bedroom one night, but I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or not. So, but I was convinced for many years that I had seen a tiny little tooth fairy dancing around my bedroom. So,
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I remember the one more vivid in my head to this day was this one little guy on a horse. They even had a little horse, and he was. I swear, I was only like 7 or 8, so I wasn't on anything.
You weren't drinking cactus juice, Wendy, were you? On the cactus juice.
No, that's my mama put it in my milk or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So I thought I'd bring it. I thought that was kind of something that I like to tell people. It's like it's true.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
really cool.
It is.
And now
definitely.
I'm really curious what Patti has to follow up with that with.
Well, I mean, I've seen what I think are UFOs. My son actually had an experience in our backyard one time, but I mean, obviously being from the area that we're at, I believe in a lot of elementals as well as, the spirits around us and stuff like that. So it kind of coincides with Wendy's little people story.
Yeah.
So, Patti, do you study the elementals and research them, or?
I don't research them. I want to say I feel them a lot, like around and stuff like that, and I feel like I've seen, you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, and then you'll turn. It's like, was it what? I always second guess, and so I do a little bit of research to try to find out about those, but I'm not. I probably should look into that more, but yeah, I definitely believe in elementals, definitely in this area. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I asked because I was talking with a guest, and we were discussing if fairies and elementals are connected, as in fairies evolved into the elementals, or if they're separate.
I always say on my ring cam outside, I always think there's moths or whatever, but I know that I think I've caught at least a fairy once on my ring cam. I don't think it was a moth because of the way it was traveling, and I tried to show people, I'm like, that's a moth, but I'm like, no, it's a fairy. It's an elemental.
I believe you.
It's the controversy of orbs kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Catching something like that on your ring cam. So
yeah.
Play rods too.
Oh yeah.
Some people call them skyfish.
Yeah.
Or
I've seen them on TV. The rod things.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think we have anything like that out here. Yeah. So anyway, I've got this theory about Arizona. There's a lot of crystal under the ground there, like a quartz crystal. Now, do you think that might have anything to do with why there's so much paranormal activity out there? Do you think it's related?
Absolutely. In fact, I was just talking to somebody last night, somebody that Wendy and I are working with up in Globe, Arizona for an investigation. And we were just talking about this because Globe and Superior and all that area, that's the copper area, mines, like that. And I was trying to find out if they're like on a ley line to see if that's another thing that's like amplifying the activity that's up there. But there's a lot of activity up in that area, as well as down in Tombstone and in Tucson and stuff like that. So absolutely, with all the elements in the ground, there is a lot of activity because of that.
There's also my husband talks about fault lines. That the fault lines have a lot to do with it too. So the fault line between that and what the crystals and the all the elements, that's probably got something to do with it too.
So I'm kind of curious, with all the crystals around, where you guys think on the theory of the crystals are retaining, or like information crystals. There's like information stored on them.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. But we have like a theory over here called the stone tape theory, where obviously they reckon that the stone has an ability to replay events from the past and stuff like that. So maybe it's like something similar to that.
Maybe. I know that, like, back on the elemental thing that, you know, where I'm a believer in that, if I see a stone on the ground that I just really like, I say to the spirits around me, or, you know, that's over the land, I'm like, hey, I really like this rock. Can I take it with me? Because I feel like that rock has been speaking to me, kind of like what you were saying, that there's a history or something like that to it. That was probably a little more bizarre than you're sure needed to know, but that's I definitely make sure that I ask, you know, so that I'm not angering whatever that spirit guide or that spirit that's around that land. That because there is a lot of spirituality in this land here from the tribes and stuff that have been here.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's like up in Superior where we investigate up there. This the Apache Leaf up there and all that. I mean, there's a lot of Native American history. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious with the crystals. Do you ever pick them up and get like visions of stuff, like past events or anything?
No, but that'd be cool. I do have a friend that is a psychic that can, but I don't know if they've actually connected to things like that. But man, that's one ability I'd love to have. But can I get that on Amazon? Next station.
Any of you? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do any of you have any like senses when it comes to the spirit world at all?
That like feel or sensitive? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like sensitive, like like psychic abilities, being able to tune in with them and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's been a couple of times. My cat, be quiet.
Yeah, your cat's driving me.
I know. Me and Patti one time. It was a bridge. That bridge. Where's that up?
Oh, the Charleston Bridge?
Yeah, it's called the Charleston Bridge.
That's
and me and her went out there, and we were like, I mean, it was intense when we just started stepping onto the bridge. Me and her were just like, oh my God, it got really dizzy. She couldn't really move. I couldn't move. We were both like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, and you could just feel because supposedly there's been people that's jumped off of.
And my dog was acting weird on that bridge too. She was acting really like she came. We take our dog with us a lot of times, and she's a little Chihuahua. And we took her to that bridge. We were there before we brought them there, and we were with Dark Valley Paranormal, which lives there in Sierra Vista. And so we're at the end of that bridge where she's talking about, and my dog, she comes running up to me, and she's whining and excessively, you know, and like she wanted me to pick her up. So I went to pick her up, and she was damp. And I'm like, how did she get damp? Because like, there's just no, we couldn't figure out how she was, because the other girl felt her too. And, you know, she was like not soaking wet, but she was damp. She was wet, you know, and she was just so freaked out. So, and that was over there where she's talking about in that area at the end there.
Yeah, there's some places I think that like there's another place that we've investigated 3 or 4 times. It's up in New Mexico, and it's jail up there. And that place is like, first time I ever went there, we were doing our investigation, and I walked around the corner with Kevin, one of the other guys on the team. And when I walked around the corner, something hit me hard. Like I was just an emotional wreck. I started crying. I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. I was sweating, and they pulled me out of that area. And I'm like, I could feel something on me. I could feel there was some type of energy like it was trying to attach. And I knew, I just could feel it. It was just a weird, overwhelming feeling of emotions. And I was crying, and then I'm like, I'm not going to say what I said, like, you know, but I was going to get the F off of me. You know, I kept yelling, get off of me, get off of me. And it was, it finally kind of like, it kind of calmed down. And then I went outside to, you know, get some air and stuff. And it was, you know, I was okay after that, but I was drained. that was probably I've had other experiences where I could feel stuff, and I could feel that, you can feel it. It's just a weird different kind of feeling. And that was the most craziest one I had ever had. And I went back. I would always go back, and we called him the Shadow Man because the lady that let us go in there, she actually showed us pictures of this Shadow Man, peeking around corners and stuff. And it's crazy. Some places you can get that feeling. Some places I don't get nothing, and then some places I can just feel. I know Patty's that way too, and Pam, I think you get that way too. But I know Patti does too. So.
Well, it's like at the Clifton Hotel when we was there in January with Patti and K-Hal crew and some other people. We were at the Clifton Hotel, and so Patti and Colleen went into the bathroom there. You notice, Patti, I did not go in there because I just felt like we were not wanted in there, like something did not really want us in there. I just felt like I didn't go in there. So I think she did. You did go in there with Colleen and Jenna. You did go in there, but I didn't go in there. I stayed out and was watching on the cameras, and that was just, I just had this feeling like, no, I'm not going in there.
Wow.
The story really quick on that bathroom that she's talking about, there was a prostitute that was killed in that bathroom by her boyfriend, and she slowly got out. So Colleen, the one that she's talking about, is the medium that I was talking about earlier, and the spirit of that prostitute really connected and really just drained Colleen completely. So,
wow,
pretty intense.
Yeah, Colleen came out. We were watching it on Patty's cameras. She had all these cameras set up, and just watching Colleen, it was just really. And when she came out, she looked so bad. She couldn't even walk. They had to help her out. She was just like totally, and her face had no color. She looked bad.
Just some of these places, it just depends, I think, on where you go and how much energy, and if there's a lot of interactions. Like certain places you go may not have had a lot of interaction with people. You know what I mean? With the living, should I say? And so when they actually get that experience with, oh my gosh, someone's here, they hear us, they feel us. This is kind of cool. So they kind of like try to get a little closer than you kind of want them to be. You're like, okay.
I just went with Wendy and the team to the Yuma Territorial Jail, and earlier that day during a walkthrough, I'd smelled in a certain cell body odor, and I was like, that's weird. So I made note of when it was, and then later on, their medium from another team had said that she had smelled body odor, and I had her go, and it was the exact same cell. I get a lot more of the scents than I do, but there's this courtyard, and I decided to stay there, and everybody left, and I was standing there by myself, and kind of goes along with what Wendy was saying, because I don't think anywhere in the prison we were really getting a lot of activity. And somebody had mentioned, well, this is like 9:30. That would have been lights out for the prison. And I was standing there in the yard that they would exercise in by myself. And all of a sudden I started hearing footsteps in the gravel, and I looked over my shoulder, and there was nobody there. And in my brain, I was like, okay, don't panic. You're a paranormal investigator. You're really good at this. You can handle this. So I stood there for a little bit more. It was coming closer, and I just was kind of like, okay, you can handle this. And when it got very close, I'm like, nope, I'm out. So yeah, I was by myself, and I wasn't about that one. So, but yeah,
I've been there.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I've been there, done that.
I was like, I can do this. I'm a professional. I can do this. And I was like, nope, I'm done. It was
getting too professional because I run all the time. So
yeah. Behind you, get yeah.
I watched.
Told you, Patti. Did I tell you about the time that me and Jeff was at Yuma prison? Did I tell you about that? Something pinched me out there because something pinched me. Because I felt this, I thought I got bee stung at first because I felt my leg was burning, and it was like a weird burn. It wasn't it was like a sting, And so I was complaining about it all day because it lasted for like a long
She
time.
complains a lot, so just so you guys know.
They don't care.
Yeah, they do.
But I was kept complaining about it because it lasted a long time. It didn't go away, which I thought was kind of weird. So, and it had a red mark. I had a red mark on my leg. So my husband didn't tell me nothing. He didn't say anything. And when we got home, he goes, "You want me to show you something?" And I go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to show you something." So he showed me the footage that, because he had his SLS camera, and so he showed me the footage that he got from there, and you could see a little figure standing beside me touching that leg.
Wow.
So the story
Wow.
behind that, really quick, the story behind that is a little girl in the river behind the prison drowned. And if you wear red, which Pamela's wearing, she will
Yeah, I
pinch
did
you.
wear red on purpose.
So yeah.
Why do you think it's the red that she pinches you for?
I'm not sure exactly. Something to the fact that I think the legend goes, I can't remember exactly, but her mother was wearing red or something like that when she fell in.
I think it was her doll. Her doll had on red, and she was at the river playing, and the doll fell in the water, so she tried to get her doll out. So she's trying to grab her doll, and
That's
I
right.
think the doll had red on. Yeah.
Oh, bless. Poor thing.
When she said pinched, it's pinched, but she said pinched, just so you know.
She gets accused a lot about
I'm
it.
going to pinch you.
It's a southern thing, I guess.
Matt, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
I just figured if the audience heard that, they might be going, "What did she say?" Yeah.
I was going to ask Patti actually a question. What sort of stuff happened when you were living in the in your haunted house then for a couple of years? What sort of things were going on?
Well, loved the our laundry room. Flip on and off our lights, and then we had an upstairs room that was basically in the same area as the laundry room. She would flip on and off the lights. I remember my daughter said one time they all knew about her. They and I say her because one day when my daughter wasn't home, I turned and looked up at the stairs, and there was a figure that was the same age as my daughter at the time. And my thought was, oh, I didn't think she was home, and then processed what had happened, and I went back, and obviously she wasn't there. But she would hide my keys all the time, and I would just say, "Hey, can you put my keys back on the table?" Or we had a little bowl at the front table, and I said, "Can you put it back there?" And like a little bit later, they would be there. She would go from my bedroom. I would sit in the family room. I could see her going from my bedroom into the laundry room, back and forth a couple of times. So nothing malicious. She just loved playing pranks on us. And then I did have my sister-in-law had come to stay, and I was telling her about the fact, well, our house, we have a little spirit here, and she didn't believe it or whatever. And my daughter had these little knickknacks on a shelf at the time, and I think my brother and my sister-in-law were saying that they were talking about, the fact that I, was talking about that the house was haunted. And she made some comment, and I don't remember what it was. And these little knickknacks in the shelf literally flew across the room at her. Yeah. She's an ex-sister-in-law, but she also had, an attitude about things. And I think that our little friend picked up on that. I had visited the house. The previous owners, they had mentioned that kind of the same thing. They had a brand new baby in the house, and the baby would sit there and talk to what we believe is the little ghost. And then I went to the house later after we'd moved out, and I just kind of said, have you had anything happen? And the lady is like, no, like I was crazy. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. So yeah, it was a fun house, but like I said, we just had to know that she was playing pranks a lot on us, and just dealt with it. So
did the atmosphere
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, did the atmosphere in the house change when you said she was around, when things happened? Did it feel a little bit different before?
That house, there was a different atmosphere in the house, and I don't know if it's because my kids were young at the time, but there was always a very playful fun atmosphere. But like I've tried to capture her on film, and you know, I think what I would get was orbs, but again, the controversy about orbs. And I just, because the kids were little at that time, I really, and I kind of have this, and maybe this is a topic, I don't investigate where I live.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like didn't do a lot of stuff that way either. So, I mean, looking back, I wish I would have done more, you know, videos or EMS sessions or whatever, but I tend not to investigate where I live. So
yeah, I'm exactly the same way on that, because I lived in a 300-year-old haunted house. It was a converted barn, and
Nice.
there was stuff happening there all the time, and everybody keep saying, well, put up cameras and investigate. Nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And even now, it's like, if there was something to happen in this house, nothing really much happens here. I did once see me dad in a reflection of the window when I was on a video call to Matt, and he screenshotted it, and you could see me dad plainly standing there. And he passed away 3 years ago on the 2nd of April. So he pops in now and again, but apart from that, nothing happens here. So Matt used to say, like, get the stuff out, because things happen in Matt's house all the time, and I refuse to do anything in my house. So I totally get you on that one, yeah.
And do you investigate in your house?
Stop doing that because
not as much as I should. Not as much as I should. I should do more. I've seen quite a lot of orbs, and I know there's a lot of controversy about orbs.
Yeah.
I don't think all of them are dust or insects. I've caught orbs on camera on my phone, and they've been moving intelligently. They've been producing their own lights, like a blue light. There was one occasion where I caught, it was like 2 gold lights, and Kel can vouch for this because she's seen the video.
Yeah.
And it was before I knew Kel. I'm going back a few years now, and I was lying on my bed at night, and I just had this urge to get my phone out and start recording, because I just had this feeling that there was something going on, there was something here. So I took up my phone, just an iPhone, started recording video, and these 2 golden orbs just flew over the bed where I was.
Oh,
and
wow.
It almost looked like, I mean, they did look like, I mean, were they orbs? I don't know. It looked like it was an apparition that was about to form. But it was 2 golden forms that just moved in a straight line, as if somebody was walking through the room.
Wow.
But I've caught lots of orbs as well that move intelligently. I've caught orbs which are blatantly dust as well. And if you've caught enough of them on camera, you can tell the difference.
You can tell the difference. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
But
I've been on video call to Matt twice. The first time he was just sitting having his dinner, and I sort of like looked behind him, and there was a woman in the back room behind him, and I was like, who's that woman in your back room? And his face dropped. He went, yeah, I've just seen that too. And it turns out it was his ex-partner who died. So we're both seeing that at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there was another time when he was walking through one of the on video call again, and walking through from his sitting room to his bedroom, and I could see a man in overalls, like looks like he was a gardener or something like that, walking straight past, and I was like, who's that man in your house? And like I say, he went in, there was nobody there, but it got a weird vibe, Matt's house, and I don't like being down there.
You've been pinched, touched, all sorts.
Yeah, I've been slapped on the leg and everything down there, and I thought it was your cat at first. No, I don't like that house at all.
I did an investigation where I was scratched, and that scratch lasted for a long time. So how often have you been scratched and pinched and stuff in your house, Matt?
Well, the funny thing is, nothing has really happened to me. I felt like I've been touched a couple of times, then you put it down to your imagination thinking, oh, did I just imagine that or something?
Right, yeah.
When Kel came over to stay, and it's happened 2 or 3 times, Kel seems to be the one that gets pinched, scratched, touched, you name it.
Yeah, I seem to think that in the beginning it was his ex-partner that didn't like the fact that obviously that I was there. So...
Yeah,
but she doesn't seem to be around anymore. So, but yeah, it hasn't happened the last couple of times I've been there. So,
kick her to the curb. Good for you.
Yeah. But there's a very oppressive atmosphere in this place as well. Sometimes, it's not as bad as it was now. But sometimes oppressive. You'd walk in and it just wouldn't feel right. It'd make you feel down, depressed, and it would suck all the energy out of you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And funny enough, I cleansed the place not that long ago. I did a sage cleanse and went into every single room. Kel gave me some white Californian sage or whatever it was, and I went into every single room and chanted a few sort of positive sort of affirmations and stuff. And I suppose really since then it hasn't really been that bad.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
But I'm moving out of
Arizona. We'll have to send you some Arizona sage.
Yeah, that could be
So what places have you actually investigated up in Arizona or wherever?
Oh gosh.
Katie Ranch.
The Gila Gel. There's old YMCA up in Globe. A lot of old hotels, like the Jerome Grand Hotel, a Copper Queen, and Bisbee. Tombstone that we investigated the birdcage, which the coolest thing that happened on that investigation for me is I was in the main floor where the stage is, the original stage and all that. And I was down on the floor. We were playing like the old cowboy music, dance hall type music and stuff. And I'm out on the floor and I'm, dancing around with a K2 meter, trying to get some interaction or whatever. So I'm down there by myself and everybody else is kind of like doing their thing. And then my boyfriend Darren and Kevin came down for a little bit. And then I thought they were still down on the floor with me. So I'm doing my thing. And then next thing I know, something like goosed me. I got goosed. I mean, if you know what goosed is.
I don't. No. I do.
Well, it's like somebody comes up behind you and just goes up like that up your butt crack, basically.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm thinking. Go ahead.
I don't never touch nobody.
I'm thinking, okay, it's one of the guys. I didn't think Kevin would do it because I'm like, if you did, you're gonna get punched for one thing. And then I thought, and then my boyfriend, I thought, I turn around and there is no one down on that floor but me. I mean, it was full blown like, up, and I was like,
wow.
So that was really cool at the birdcage. And I'm thinking it was just one of the cowboys out, spirits are like, hey, whatever. Just kind of cool. It was cool. And, I can't even explain it. It was just like, it felt like somebody was back there and did it. It wasn't like this little light. It was like, I was like, hello. So that was cool.
I need a drink.
Yeah, really. Might be a drink first, and then you can maybe do it. Yeah.
You did at least.
But yeah, that was. We've done the Magma Club. It's just up in Superior Old High School up there.
The Sierra Bridge.
The bridge.
And the Brown Canyon Ranch.
I do a lot of. We go out of town and do a lot of. We've been to the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh wow, I'd love to go there.
Oh, that place is so awesome. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. Queen Mary, she even is Queen Mary.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
Telling me that I believe your grandfather was.
Yeah, my granddad was a crew. Yeah,
that's really
Queen
cool.
Mary.
That's fascinating.
That's why I would love to go there to the Queen Mary, because I've got a family connection.
You definitely need to. Yeah.
But then there was a Phelps Hospital here in Arizona, in Ajo is the name of the little town. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Waiver, what's that one up in California you just came from?
Oh,
the Whaley House
The
up
Whaley
in
House in
California.
California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a really cool EVP from there, and we didn't even know it until we got home and started going through our stuff. And so the story about at the Whaley House, there's a lady that does the tour, and she'll tell you a little bit about the history. And she was talking about the girl there, Violet. She actually shot herself in the parlor, and she was on the couch. And because she had went through a divorce, and I guess that was really frowned on, so she couldn't handle the ridicule that she was dealing with, and so she shot herself. She didn't die right away, and so we were in there, and he was recording, and when we got back home, he was listening through everything, and you could hear this female just wailing like she was in a lot of pain, and it was a long, drawn out wail. And I was just like, oh my God, when I heard it, and I had I got chills now. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, I've done the Wassail Club up in Nevada, and the Nevada State Prison. The Wassail Club, I think that's it. Nevada State Prison. That was pretty cool. I don't know what Patti has done exactly. I know she's been.
She's done a lot of stuff with Misty in there.
Yeah. Mostly a lot of stuff. We did live in Las Vegas for a while. I do have a kind of a strange alien story, but I like the way Wendy says Nevada, though. Say it again. Sorry, we were talking about this earlier about way different things, but anyway.
The Wassail Club.
Yeah, the Nevada. Anyway, so my story. Are we running out? Are we doing good on time, or do you have time for this weird story?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, we got time.
All right, we'd been in Las Vegas for about a year, and my oldest daughter was about 2. And one day I had like this very strange sore on my ankle, and it wouldn't go away, and it felt like there was a BB inside of it. Now you got to remember, we lived close to Area 51 at the time. We lived in the Charleston area over there, and I had this very strange. But it took like a month and a half for this sore to heal, which I thought was very bizarre. And about a month into the time that I had this sore, my daughter, who was 2 at the time, had a similar sore in the exact same spot on her foot. And my husband and I had always joked that, oh yeah, I was abducted by aliens or whatever. But the weird part about this story is when we moved to Arizona, 6 months after we moved to Arizona, that sore came back, and that BB that was inside of my leg was completely gone. And during the time that I was in Las Vegas, I'd get a lot of the ringing of the ears or whatever, and the joke was, yeah, they're trying to contact you. But so that's my alien story.
Wow.
I don't know if I believe it, but that's what it is. So
yeah,
kind of a strange one.
And look at Patti holding out on us.
I think one of my favorite places to go here in Arizona probably would have to be Acadia Club or Acadia Ranch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I second that.
We've had a lot of.
Especially the last time when you jumped into my husband's lap.
No. I only know that because you screamed first. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it was a poltergeist activity that happened, and a bag jumped. It actually got yanked off the table while we were doing, asking questions and stuff, or whatever. And this thing just yanked off the table, and she was sitting by her husband, and she jumped up and somehow landed in his lap. It scared all of us to death. We were like, oh my God.
So we were using our seance machine. We have an 1800s machine that we're using right now. And it's a machine that they used back in the 1800s.
It's called a quack.
It's called a quack machine because it puts out electricity. So you have people hold on to this metal key thing, and then people sit in a circle and hold on to each other. And the current, you turn the crank, and the current goes through everybody's hands. So we were doing this at Acadia, and we had it happen at the Clifton Hotel too. We were doing this at Acadia, and that's what happened. I was asking a question about Pete. Pete was known to be a really bad man out there back in the day, and so I asked him if he was there, and that's when the bag. It made a loud bang, and I screamed, and we all just. And then next thing I know, she's sitting in my husband's lap, and we
I was very glad I wasn't in his lap.
Somehow I have a feeling if this story ever makes TV, the highlight reel and promo reel is she ends up at her husband's lap.
I know. Very good. If you don't know what Acadia Ranch is, it used to be a tuberculosis ward back in the day.
Yeah, I do know a little bit about that place.
Yeah, yeah, and we've also had Magma Club. We've had some weird experience with this place. We went in and we started getting this name from the spirit on the spirit box, and his name is Rupert. And every time we go there, this spirit is really a smart aleck. He'll call you a bee. He'll tell you F you. He'll do all this stuff. So I don't know what has happened, but it seems like lately when we go to different places to investigate and we do the Estes method, we get this spirit that comes through the Estes method and tell us it's Rupert, that he's there with us wherever we go. We just was at the, like she said, the Yuma Territorial Prison. We was doing the Estes method. I was under the Estes method. I had the headset on and listening to, they were asking the questions. I couldn't hear anything, but I, speak out what I heard. And his name came through, kept saying Rupert.
Wow.
So we have this spirit from this place up in Superior, Arizona, that the last 3 or 4 investigations we've done, he has come through. And we don't know if he's attached to one of us or if he's attached to the spirit box or something, but
that makes me wonder, because how everywhere we go, sometimes when Jeff's using the spirit box, we hear this little voice say, "Let me out, Jeff." And it's like everywhere we go. So it's like, I don't know if something is following us and they're attached to this box, because they keep saying, "Let me out, Jeff."
So this was kind of like an attachment thing I was trying to get, there's like spirits like to attach to certain things or whatever. But this experience with this Rupert spirit has been really weird. And I mean, you can ask Patti. The thing we're working on is like a little documentary type thing we're doing for this guy up in Globe in one of his buildings, and he's come through up there too. And this is 2 different little towns. They're about a 30-minute drive between each one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of weird. I just thought I'd bring that up too. That was
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He's very aggressive.
Michael, you got any more questions?
I actually have an interesting question, and there is a story behind it as well. Have you investigated the Grand Canyon in like El Torvino?
No, we haven't done that.
I've never even I've been out here 7 years and I've never seen the Grand Canyon. We haven't been out there yet.
Yeah, we haven't done that. No. Oh, we investigated a colossal cave that's up here.
Oh, you've been there?
Oh, yeah. So we investigated a cave. That was pretty interesting. But,
so where is it in the Grand Canyon that you're talking about?
So there's this hotel, I believe it's called El Corvino.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there actually with a friend from Holland. And we went in because there is a painting in there that hangs on the wall of the owner. And the story is the painting, no matter where you stand, it's watching you. And so I filmed on my cell phone, standing at one side, walked to the other side. And when you look at the footage, the eyes are always on me.
That's weird.
And it's a painting.
Is that in the south part of the Grand Canyon or the north part? Do you know?
I believe it's on the south part.
Yeah, because there's a hotel up in the north part of the Grand Canyon that I was at, but again, it was before I really found like-minded people to do anything with, and
Yeah, and I'm also I was curious if you had gone, or if you were exploring the Grand Canyon in the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah, we haven't done Grand Canyon. This is something, yeah. That would be interesting.
Well, maybe we should.
Yeah, we should.
Definitely.
I believe you have to have a tribe member to go to the Forbidden Zone, don't you?
I'm not sure. I just know the government has locked it off. You can't fly over it. You can't have drones over it.
Because of that cave?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's because of bats.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that's not true.
The bats.
Yeah, it's always bats.
Plus bats. They're not going to hurt you.
They'll stick in your hair.
They ain't going to turn you into no vampire.
No, but they'll
You'll
get
be
in your
okay.
hair.
Yeah, you're all right. You'll be okay.
Yeah, it's all about the hair right now.
I've had them when I lived in Tennessee. I had them. They'd come up and they get right up there and they're like,
Hey,
you don't want them to get in your hair.
I had a seagull that pooped in my hair one time, and somebody told me, "Don't wipe it off. It's a good luck thing." I'm like, well, that happened like 10, 12 years ago. What happened with the luck? Come on, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I had a funny experience about that. Is I was sitting outside and there's a tree over my head and it's summertime, and so I was like, all right, I'll sit out here, and all of a sudden a bird made a dropping on my shoulder, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I get up and there's another dropping on me, and I'm like, I'm going in. You guys are targeting me now. I'm done.
being bullied by birds.
That's great.
If you could investigate anywhere in the world, where would be your top locations?
I hope you would ask me that. There are two places that is on my bucket list, and I'm trying to get there this year. I am so going to try Waverly Hills and Penhurst Sanitarium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, that's my bucket list. I'm so trying to get there.
Yeah.
Wow, nowhere international, huh?
Yeah.
I would say Scotland. That's where I want to go. Scotland and England. I mean, not to be like, yeah, but that, yeah.
Mine is probably an island.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
And then
I believe it's in Venice, Italy. Probably.
It is.
Yeah.
It was like an island where they took all the people that had the bubonic plague.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Plague Island.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I wanna investigate an insane asylum type thing, because the energy in those places have to be like intense. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wanna.
Yeah.
I mean, I think prisons are pretty intense too, but an asylum, yeah.
I really want
Yeah.
to do New Orleans for
Horrible experiments that they did on them. So those are.
So that's,
I'm curious, Patti, where in the UK, and by UK I'm meaning England and Scotland, are you like being drawn to?
I really haven't researched it enough, but I just want to just go and just everywhere. Where would be the best places to go?
Hadrian's Wall.
I wasn't even gonna say it.
Hadrian's Wall is basically a 2,000-year-old wall that stretches across from the east side of the UK to the west side.
Right.
It was to keep the Scottish out. Basically. So it's at the top of my street. It's like 200 yards away from where I live.
Really? Oh wow!
I've never been.
Okay.
I've never been.
You have not been, really? Why?
It's like walking distance. It's just one of those things,
No.
when it's there, you
Let's
just-
clarify. She's
But
been
it's ruined,
there,
isn't it,
but
really?
she doesn't investigate there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One day, Michael was like, I sent him some pictures of the wall because he wanted to see what it was like where I lived.
Yeah.
So, but I was on another show, and he sent in the chat, "Oh, Kel, them are nice pictures that you sent us of Hadrian's Wall." And I was like, I hate to tell you, but I got them off Google. I didn't go up there myself.
That's funny. What about the coast of like Dover? Have you guys been over there and done any investigating, like because of D-Day and stuff like that, or?
No, that's at the bottom of the country. That's too far.
Oh, okay, it's too cold.
I mean, we've done investigations down in the village where Matt lives. There's a graveyard there, and apparently there's a monk. Matt, you're better at telling that story about him.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a little village down in England in the Cotswolds called Prestbury, and Prestbury is apparently one of the most haunted villages in England.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I was growing up there, we didn't see anything. You know, we used to go out looking for stuff, but didn't really see anything. But there are lots of ghost stories about Prestbury. There's one of the most reported sightings is a spirit called the Black Abbot, and he'd walk from the old church through the village and disappear into a house somewhere. And lots of people have seen the Black Abbot. There's quite a few haunted houses down there where people have heard like an old harpsichord being played, and nobody's been there playing a harpsichord. There have been sightings of a ghost called the White Lady, and it's supposed to be a bride or something that people have seen just moving across fields. You know, you can't see her legs; she's just hovering and moving across fields. There's another sighting of what people refer to as the Headless Horseman. And there's a very old street that runs down there, and rumor has it that, you know, in sort of, I don't know when it was, Tudor times or probably just a little bit after, somebody had strung something across the road, and this soldier was riding his horse and took his head off. And there have been sightings of a headless horseman riding his horse. People can hear the horse galloping on what sounds like old sort of cobbles or like a sort of gritty kind of dusty road. So yeah, there have been lots and lots of stories, but I personally haven't seen anything yet. But as Kel said, we did like a little mini investigation, didn't we, a few months ago?
Yeah.
Where we went for a walk around there, and we brought just the basics: K2 meter, a couple of cameras, a REM pod, and in fact, the REM pod went off at one point, didn't it? When nobody was around.
Yeah, a few times.
It was up at the gravestone, like it was a I don't know, what do you call it when you got like a crypt, maybe it was a crypt.
Yeah.
It was like a raised stone, yeah. And we left the REM pod on top, and we went and disappeared. But you know, we sat somewhere and watched it for half an hour or so. Well, we had the K2 meter, and we were just randomly filming different bits and pieces to see if we could see anything. And the REM pod went off, which was interesting.
Something else I'd like to do is go Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah.
Searching for the Bigfoot. That would be like kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you should say that, because there are reported sightings of a Bigfoot up in Northumberland, not far from where Kel lives.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A place called Bowlam Lake. My friend actually went looking for it a couple of years ago. We did actually hear something in the trees, like something large, but then we put it down to it's probably a cow or something. But then we realised that why would a cow be in the forest and not in the field? So we just we packed up and we made a short exit after that. So, but there's loads of haunted locations, absolutely loads. Obviously, we've got castles everywhere. So but as far as Sasquatch, basically. It's like there's people that say that they think it's related to the paranormal or aliens or something like that. So
interdimensional, isn't it? People think.
Interdimensional. That's what I meant. Yeah.
My husband talks about petroglyph carvings, and on South Mountain in Phoenix, there are actual carvings on the rocks there that depict some type of giant So,
Wow.
yeah. And I've seen
That's
those
interesting.
carvings. He's
Well-
got pictures of them and stuff, and it's like a giant something.
Well, that is
So,
thinking.
Funny story for you, Pam. In the, I believe it was 1850s, late 1800s, the Smithsonian was called into Nevada to seize the red-haired giants they dug up. That
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
had actually dug up giants. So
Wow.
it's not impossible that he saw a glyph of
Yeah,
a giant.
I think he's talked about that. What you're talking about, he's mentioned it on some of his shows that he's done.
I've seen
Wow.
photographs of like an excavation team digging up huge skeletons, and I just thought it was Photoshop.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're the Smiths. So the story goes, the farmers dug up these giants, and the Smithsonian arrived to, quote, check out the claim. And after the Smithsonian left, the bones left, all stories of the giants were quenched. They were gone. And it was like, yep, that incident never happened in history, according to the Smithsonian. They don't have the bones,
That's
but yet we all know they have the bones.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
One-
guys,
one more-
Sorry, what is your guys' go-to equipment that you have to have on any investigation?
We've got quite a
Um,
bit. Kelsey's camera, really, don't you?
Yeah, well, basically, I've got like everything virtually, but I prefer a camera, a torch, pen and piece of paper. I'll just write it down.
Okay.
But yeah,
We've got an SLS camera, but I don't know. I mean, those things tend to map out all sorts of things, unless it's in
Yeah.
a station. Unless you leave it somewhere and you know
Yeah.
that where it's facing is just a blank wall or something, and something
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
With those, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes you just have to learn when you see what it's mapping. You can kind of tell if it's
Mhm.
it's hard to explain, but I've learned to recognize. I've learned to be able to
Basically,
tell
it-
if it's mapping something
Right.
like furniture, or if it's not.
There's
Yeah.
there's the SLS, which is easier to map out, like a chair, or like if you have a doll and you got it on, it could map out as a person or whatever. Then
Yeah.
there's the XLS, which is like a 3D. It's a step above the SLS, which
Right.
I've had. I got both, and I got the XLS. The XLS is more accurate,
Okay.
and so that's my favorite. Is the XLS is very cool. But the SLS is cool. Yeah, I love that. That's my go-to. I love it.
Mm.
It's the cat balls. And then we have the cat balls here.
I love the
I don't know
cat
if you
balls.
guys ever used the cat ball.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Some of them.
yeah.
These are pretty cool. These work
Yeah.
really well. Yeah.
They are.
All about the cat balls.
Every time me and Wendy get a new doll, we got to try out the cat ball and see if the doll makes the cat ball light up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get home the dolls, and but yeah.
I've had some interesting results off a spirit box before. I've got a SB11, and I took it to my friend's flat once, and my friend is a gay man, and we're sitting there, and we'll keep getting this man coming through. So I basically says, "What do you think of my friend Daryl?" And the voice came through, and it said, "Sleeps with men," and we were like, "Right, okay." No shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he says, "What do you think of Kel?" The same voice comes through and went, "She's a bitch." And it just kept on repeating that. And I was like, right, okay, I'm being told.
You're like, listen here. I got some tea for you. That's
I've
Yeah.
been called that. I've been called that in the spirit world and in just our own human world a lot. So
What does that tell you?
I'm a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I already know this.
I was like, tell us something I didn't know. So what you guys Patti, what's your favorite go-to?
So lately we've had a lot of success with just a flashlight, or as you guys call them, torches. We just, dim them up a little bit, and we're getting a lot of responses with just the plain old flashlight. So they've been very successful with that, and I'm kind of liking. I've got a lot of the stuff. I've got the spirit boxes, but I also, because I'm a photographer, I always have a camera with me. About 4 or 5 different types of cameras. So because I'm gonna catch something.
Funny when you said torch, I'm like, they use torches, but now I remember that's what you guys call it.
Yeah.
I'm like, a torch, that's new.
So Patti, what was that happened when we were at Clifton Hotel and we were leaving and you took a picture? There was a picture in one of the rooms of the hotel, and you said your husband had that same picture.
It's my mother-in-law. I think we've debunked that. I don't think it's the same picture, but I thought there's a picture of 5 ladies together, and for that time period, one of the ladies has glasses, and the picture that is at my mother-in-law's house is of his grandma and his great aunts, his great grandmother and aunts. I was pretty sure it was the same picture, but I know that in that picture also will move and follow you a little bit like the one Michael was talking about, but not to the extent probably of, the eyes on one of them will follow. And I think the people that had stayed there before had an experience, and I can't remember the story behind that one. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. One last question. What do you like to do to wind down after you've been on an investigation?
Oh my goodness, that paranormal hangover.
After party.
After party.
Because I have asthma, I can't do the sage, so I have to do sage spray. But to try to wind down, to try to pull that energy that you have. But it does take me at least a day or a day and a half to come down off of that energy, that paranormal hangover, and
I don't use anything. I usually, because of my beliefs in Christ and stuff, I kind of like say a prayer or whatever. When I leave, I usually say, you're not allowed to follow me. You have to stay here. You have no permission to go home with me. But then sometimes I don't do it because I'm kind of weird and I shouldn't be this way. But I kind of like, maybe if I don't say something, maybe someone will follow me home and I can say, yes, I've experienced this now. You know what I mean? But then if I experience it and it's something bad, then I'm going to be like, dang, you should have told it to stay there. So I don't know. It's just one of those. It depends on the location. If I know there's nothing really bad there, I try to not. I just kind of like, okay,
maybe it's
you don't tell her to come home with me, but kind of like in the back of my mind, like, you can come home with me if you want. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't do that, but I just want to experience it. I want to be scratched. I haven't been scratched yet. I want to be scratched. I want my hair pulled. I want to, just silly, weird things that most people like.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. But, I'm one of those people, I believe, and I'm skeptic to a point too, but if it happens to me, then I can say, yeah. Now, I knew, I kind of already believed it did, but now I've got to prove because it happened to me. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I had that happen twice. I was on a location standing between the door, standing like in the middle of the door frame, and the nearest people to me are like the other side of a room, so to speak. So it's like nobody's near me, and I feel this on the back, like they flick, and the back of my shirt, and I turn around real quick, and I'm like, and I realize I'm in a doorway. Nobody could be standing behind me, but I'm like, no idea what caused my shirt to flick.
Like a vortex or a portal, or what do you think when you say is that what you're talking about, or?
Well, it's like, when somebody comes up and they snap the shirt, like they pull it back.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay.
And it was in the middle of my back. And so I was like, who did that? And it's like, nobody's around me. And I was like, I even got like this huge smile on my face. I was like, you guys, somebody just snapped the back of my shirt.
Isn't that cool when something like that happens? I think it's awesome when you get little
It
things.
is.
Like, when I got goosed, that was like, wow, that was so cool.
Well,
Yeah,
the
but-
other one was I was at a location and I felt like somebody stuck their hand inside my pocket, like looking for candy or something. And I was like, whoa, hey, there's no candy in that pocket.
Or looking for your wallet.
For your wallet.
Yeah, you want to hope they were looking for your wallet.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's experience. And when you get an experience like that, it's really cool. It really is. Sometimes it can be a little, it can scare you. But then after you sit and think about it, you're like, wow, that was really cool. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I am about it. But
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious with you guys because it happened for me was after investigating for a while and you got your first Class A EVP. Did you get like a euphoria feeling? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe moment.
Oh,
my God,
absolutely.
yeah.
You pull everybody in, you're texting it to everybody like, look at that.
I feel like, are you sure you didn't say that? No, I didn't say that. You sure? Are you? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's why we do that, right? That's why we do this. We get that.
Oh,
That's
no,
why we
yeah.
get
I know.
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
feeling.
Definitely. So, Matt, have you got any final questions at all?
I suppose really. I mean, have you guys got anything coming up imminently? Have you got any investigations planned or any places that you're going to go to or whatever?
Well, we're working on with Patti and we're trying to get these guys to come in when we get it going more. But we're doing like we're trying to get like a documentary type thing going with this one building up in Globe. This guy that we know, he has us come in and investigate this building a few times. Well, he found like a secret room like under the floor, and then and it has like a little crack in the floor. And if you look in it, but he stuck his camera, he kind of hooked it up on the string or whatever, and he kind of lowered it down into this crack. And there's like, it looks like a room, but it's like bricks all around the room and everything. So he's wanting to kind of do a documentary on this. And Patti could probably explain a little more to you because she did like an interview type thing with everybody. But he wants us to go in and actually, I think he wants us to try to open it up and get in there eventually. But yeah, so Patti's been doing some video and doing some editing and doing a little clip of what we found or he found, and then us in there investigating and stuff. But Patti can tell you probably a little more.
That's something that we're kind of working on right now for sure. I'm going to be going up this weekend and next weekend to do more interviews and stuff like that. But the interesting thing about that is this whole and I think I just posted it on the Facebook page or it's on, I can't remember, but at the end of the thing, Kevin is asking, like what's down in this hole. There's going to be a whole story about what happened beforehand and on this. It's very, very interesting because Kevin's wife had a dream and there's like all these things that kind of correlate with this story. But it's very interesting because a word that Kevin got on the spirit box was children. And so, there's this metal box down in this hole that you can barely see. And so we're trying to figure it out. And the gentleman that we're talking about said that a police sergeant the other day had, like a month ago, had mentioned that back in the 70s, that there was a building in Globe that they found bones in. And so it's kind of going around with the story that Sarah had told. And so, yeah, it's a very interesting thing that we're working on. I'm also, we have a couple of Paracons here in Arizona that we're going to be going to. One of the big ones is Tombstone. I know that Pam's husband Jeff is going to be speaking with that, and then I've got Bisbee coming up in May. I think is when I go to that. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say I won't be doing the tombstone. I'm going to be there. I'm making an appearance for my own personal reasons, but I'm going to be there. Kelly kind of knows about. And yeah, and then the globe thing. Yeah, I will be there. I want to check that out. These guys.
The only thing we got coming up next week, we're going to Oklahoma, and I'm going to go see my grandbaby. We're going to stop in Dallas. My husband wants to go to Daley Plaza where the JFK was shot. So he wants to go. He wants to go check that out. He's been bugging me to go check that out. So we're gonna go 4 hours out of our way to go there. So he can. We're gonna spend all day there. So he can check that out.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
totally worth it. That's in my backyard.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Of course it is. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Michael, any more questions? Or is that it?
No, I think we covered everything, and I just thankful that we were able to get everybody on and have this great experience.
I wish the other guys could have made it, but they're kind of laid back dudes. They kind of like,
Yeah, like you noticed the man didn't want to.
The man didn't show up.
I mean, yeah, my husband included. He's like, no.
You know who wears the pants in this family?
Yep.
Sorry, Darren.
Well,
It's
I
never.
appreciate you guys coming on anyway. So
Sorry.
it's been brilliant having you on anyway.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
asking.
you. Yeah, this is fun.
No problem.
Yeah.
So where can people find you if they need to get in touch with you or ask any questions or whatever?
Well, they can find me on the Facebook Ghost Crew page. I don't do a lot of TikTok and stuff. I'm not good at that stuff. That's why we got Miss Patti that's helping us with stuff too. She's really good at it, and we love her anyhow. She didn't have to be good at it to hang out with us. So, but yeah, but I'm not real good at that stuff. My team is kind of like, we just do it for, to the investigation is having fun and just trying to capture things. And hopefully if we capture something amazing, then that's when we'd probably post something, but we don't post a lot of, and it's okay with other people that do it. I have no problem with that. But, we, just doing an investigation and just showing the REM pod going off, K2 going off, that going off. We're just kind of waiting for that aha moment, where we can say, okay, now we're going to put something together and put it on TikTok or whatever, YouTube, But, and where can they reach you and Jeff?
Oh, well, Jeff has a YouTube channel. He has two of them. Haunted Encounter Adventures is the one. And then he has the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky for his UFO thing on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok under Ghostlight Investigations. I also have a website, but my tech people, which is my husband, hasn't put my website together yet, so it's in progress. So I do have a site for that. So Ghostlight Investigations on all three of those. So
excellent.
Brilliant. Cool.
Right. I just want to thank you again for coming on, and it's been a hoot finally getting to meet you. But I'm going to let Michael close up, and because it's his turn this week.
Oh, my turn to close. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
honey, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you to everyone who's watching, and thank you to everyone who's going to pop in the chat room and, enjoy this episode. And I just want to say for everyone, wherever you are in the world, make it a great day. Fill your day with love and joy, and don't be afraid of the paranormal. Embrace it and see what's out there. We don't have to be afraid anymore of the unknown.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt and see what he has to add.
Yeah, just the same as that. Just Jesus loves you. You know, let's end the show there. Press that button, Michael.
All right, then. Have a great one, everyone, and thank you for watching. And
Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Patty.
But
Bye.
don't forget also to come back next week for our next episode. So with that, we are out.